Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Bombay ThaGhost. This about a lot of shit, you come and hop, popping a lot of lip. But if I can recall where you been at, the answer's anonymous. You never had a chance to revise my thoughts. So tell me, why should I revise my thoughts? I affirm that I never would stop until the album drops. I keep talking while you making me hot. How can you speak about what I do when you never been around to stand for what I do? In this case, it's a IOU, but you can't pay me back because money can't afford what I lack. No moms, no pops, you even lost the girls. Now you think you could step up and control my world? Shit, you ain't even in my galaxy. I could control me, which means I'ma do me. I was alone, I came home, now I wanna go back. Cause the stress ain't worth breaking my back. But I'm here for my sisters and my little man Chris. Payback, I won't be there for your marriage tears. Save it, cause I ain't really with it. It was times I cried, you should've been there, but you couldn't hear it. Now you know what it really feels like when I'm coming at you wrong, when it really feels right. That's like, and I'm gonna think twice when I'm going through. Should I really come home to you? I'm doing. Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? I'ma keep it realer than the fake ID. Punchlines hit harder than the Henny on your VIP. Or any beat I free, STYLE. But if I write, then believe shit is crack indeed. Say used to move the cracks in the hood. Then the nigga grew up, I had to show my fucking team was good. And why I keep it top in the game. Got connects in MIA, Georgia, Urban, VA. The best we replay, BX where we stay fresh to death. No bad breath, only some chronic. Sipping the tonic, big goose and hypnotic. Dro, we got it. Open our ears to the knowledge and our eyes to the shit that we see. And I open my mouth when I gotta tell you who I be. I'm pissy drunk, coming home on the LIE. I'm moving north when I'm flipping some packs, rushing the cracks. Knocks never on my back, cause I keep it silent. And for sure, if it comes to the war, your kid gets violent. I never meant to hustle like I had to, but I had to. Had to show my nigga shit was brand new, brand name. Top in the line, yeah, top in the game. And wherever you go, yo, it's all the same. The truth about me, I never complain. I like to do things while I'm doing 90 and I'm switching lanes. Enough people really feel what I'm saying, cause they know what's coming from the heart. They know I ain't playing, I really mean it. My lyrics is some warnings. Now I'ma sit back and burn kush till early in the morning. I'm high and I think about life, how the system gon' do me wrong, do my sister's trite. Thug life was this life I chose, going down that road of destruction. At the end it was nothing. I really believe I burn trees, sip OEs, I'm at ease, release pain so I can breathe. That's the way you rest, just the way I'm releasing my stress. That's how I keep my skills at best. I'm ready for the test. Go to sleep at night, my eyes closed like 5 in the morning. The orders is 2. Fuck it, get up and get another boo. Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at, man? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you been